Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Hearthcenter, your Tuesday night show bringing you the latest news from THL. I'm one of your hosts, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by my favorite crew here to my left, Super Chicken. Chicken, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Happy to be here. I'm excited to cover last week of the Legacy and Pro regular seasons.
Of course, it's going to be quite the week. We also have Azalea Akari here. Azalea, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm also excited to talk about the conclusion of a Legacy and Pro and talk about the Hero playoff picture.
Awesome. And finally, Geranium Battle is here. Geranium, how are you doing?
Doing well. Glad to be moving into playoffs. It's always a very exciting time of the year for THL. And yeah, we're going to see how everything wraps up.
For sure. So we're going to start by taking a look at Hero. Then we're going to move into Legacy and Pro. Each of these series are going to be followed by their respective PPRs. Not only are we going to do their PPRs, we're also going to have our checkout question, special checkout question of the night at the end. So everyone ready for us to begin?
Yeah, let's jump in.
All right, so let's start with our player of the week. Chicken, who's our hero player of the week?
Our hero player of the week is none other than Starlax. Needing to avoid a loss in the final 2 weeks of the hero season, Starlax took a big step up and gave F2L Black an early sweep. This momentum carried through the start of the week and set up a 13-13 tie, keeping F2L in the playoff race. This combines with his stellar season for a 5-2 performance. Here's hoping this season, unlike the blog, does not commit THL Dooku. So congrats to Starlax, and thanks to our very own Geranium Battle for the submission.
Thank you, Geranium, and congratulations, Starlax. Now, Geranium, why don't you tell us our Legacy Player of the Week?
Of course, our Legacy Player of the Week is none other than Memnarch. In a win and in playoffs situation, Memnarch went above and beyond what he needed to do with a sweep to get standard THL degenerates into playoffs. The virus will continue to spread and STD will roll on into playoffs. Congratulations on Player of the Week. That write-up from Azalea.
Congratulations, Memnarch, for your Player of the Week. Finally, Azalea, who's our Pro Player of the Week?
Our Pro Player of the Week is Gimme Lamp. In what was likely the most important Pro match last week, Gimme Lamp led the charge in Femboy's sweep with one of his own. They needed to win the week against the next closest contender for playoffs in pink, and did so with some points to spare. Good luck in playoffs. This write-up comes from Based Inc.
Nice. Congratulations, Gimme Lamp, and congratulations to all our Player of the Week. I don't know if we're going to have a Player of the Week next week or not. I actually have no idea. That varies a lot by seasons, but I want to give a congratulations to Starlax, Memnarch, and Gimme Lamp, and I want to give a very special thank you at this point to the Player of the Week committee for keeping doing this every season, and especially thank you to Bomb D for keeping this going, keeping the team going, all the amazing reads. And if you would like to help, you can always submit your own nomination, and we would love to know more about players you think deserve Player of the Week. We love when we receive noms. That is a great way for us to select what matches are to be featured, what should be here. So please, captains, nominate your players, nominate your friends, and we'll have more Players of the Week. With that out, should we talk about Hero?
Absolutely.
All right, so our first match of the night is going to be F2L Black facing Dr. Boom's Puzzlers, and Azalea Akari is going to tell us about this one.
Absolutely. So this match, as previously mentioned, for player of the week going to Starlax, this was a tie. This is a very, very interesting week. The week started off with Starlax getting his sweep. And then next match was Copa versus Jespin, where Jespin got the Game 5 win over Copa. And then the next match was myself and Pro B1, where I took a 3-1 win. So going in, we had a 10-5 lead going into our final 2 matches. Based was unable to get a Game 5 win over Owl, so Owl moves to 7-0 on the season. And then in the final match, Lemur getting a win in 4 games over Seth, and getting the week to a tie. So very, very interesting match. Very seesaw at first, and then just completely brought back for a tie. Yeah, it's a little disappointing, but we're still in play. But it keeps us in it for playoffs.
For sure. Geranium, anything you want to say about this one?
Yeah, there's some interesting class dynamics showing up here. We've got, basically the entire class register featured because Copa has that shaman, and then we've got the rogues, the paladins, and the low seeds, the priests in the very tippy top there. Every single class being shown here. I will say that unfortunately, the people that brought mage did not find any luck with this week, and same with the lone shaman enjoyer. But on the other side of the fence, hunter still at the top of the metagame, and also it looks like top of the class rankings for this. Every single hunter won this week. So yeah, it is very diverse meta, as you can see from people bringing so many different things, but yet a lot of the strong things are still very strong, and we'll see if that continues to be the case going into this week.
And a lot of druid bans.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Not everybody. I think everybody on our team who faced druid banned it.
Is it everyone who faced druid at all banned it? No, I guess not.
No, Lemur banned Brew.
Now, Chicken, anything you want to comment about this one?
Yeah, I found the non-rogue ban from Lemur pretty interesting. Lemur was able to take down the druid from Seth with his warrior, interestingly enough. Which I'm not sure which warrior it was, but I didn't think I don't think either warrior would really have a great chance against it. But maybe Seth brought a different type of. Maybe Seth brought like Treant druid by accident.
He had both jams on the only minion that stuck, and he had nothing.
Yeah,
so it was Enrage. Enrage got on board.
Huh.
Yeah.
Enrage does win every once in a while. So, thinking about another match, Chicken, tell me about that legend facing the premium membership.
Yeah, taking a look at this match, it's another super close one, but this one was won by Dad Legend. We had one more point in this week than we did in the one we just looked at. Another super close week, but Dad Legend getting that 1 extra point, and then subsequently turning that into 4 extra points, or 3 extra points. Sorry, but yeah, Itachi super sub coming back in to take a 3-1 over to Sharma was actually pretty huge for Dad Legend, getting their biggest win of the week there. With Yellow Dart continuing his 7-0 run on the season, and Risen picking up a 3-2 win as well. With Stinzy and Jammies getting wins for APM. But yeah, some pretty interesting stuff here. Not that many druids. Like, there are four Death Knights, which is almost as many druids, which is kind of interesting. And as well, like, not that many druid bans. There's like 2 druid bans for the 5 druids, which I found pretty interesting.
Druid is fine.
I find like druid loses to I think for Stinzy it kind of makes sense because like why else would you bring Death Knight if you're not yeah, Bombay did not even have druid, but like yeah, I find Death Knight could be an option if you're planning on leaving up druid. It's one of the few decks that does do fairly well into it. And maybe that's what the priest is there for with Stinzy as well. But yeah, it is pretty interesting. Like Desharmo having or like seeing the druid not really like having a class that deals with it well and just leaving it up, and it seems like it didn't turn out too well for him.
Yeah, although on the flip side, Jammies and Yellow Dart also both left Druid up and won their match, though it was a close one both ways. So I don't really think that I mean, Yellow Dart had Paladin, I guess, as an answer to Druid, but I don't really think that there was much respect given to the class.
Fair. There is a specific Paladin, Holy Paladin build that is very anti-Druid.
Runs the weapon, I think.
You run the weapon, you run the aura that their spells cost 1 more, because that is not good for Druid. I mean, they can deal with it, but it's not great. They need to play the reduced cost of spells.
You know that every class can run that aura, and it's called Cult Neophyte?
Yeah, but...
Wait a second. And Speaker Stomper.
Whoa, wait, that's 2 of them. You can't even have 2 auras as Paladin.
It's true. Now, I want to ask Azalea if they have any last comments about this match before we look at the standings.
No other comments. It wasn't beat the Paladin that beat the Druid in Game 5 for Dart, though. I will say that. But I don't have anything else to say.
Okay. So let's take a look at the standings. Geranium, why don't you tell us what these are looking like at the end of the week?
Of course. In the teal side of things, always playoff mode is going into the final week with 126 points, a 6-1 team record. 22 Diamonds version has 114 points, 5-2 team record. Dr. Boom's Puzzlers is at 104, 3-3-1, and is also facing 22 Diamonds version to make it in. By the way, it's the top 2 teams from each conference. So the winning team there might actually just decide who makes it into to playoffs. The Harvard of the Northeast is a bit farther back, 88 points, and the Gas League inside the Starbucks is at 76 points. So yeah, it looks like always playoff mode is I think 1 point away from being locked, and then is locked because the 2 teams below them are fighting, are duking it out, and then those 2 teams below them, once again, it's I think Dr. Boom's Puzzlers needs like a 4-1 in matches to guarantee get in. Purple Conference on the other side, Dad Legend started the week at 120 points. F2O Black started with 101 points, and Department of League Administration at 98. A premium membership at 89 points, and his name is actually Jonas at 76. And as you can see, Dad Legend facing Dola in the first during this week, and F2O Black is
playing APM.
I believe facing APM, a premium membership.
Premium membership. Yeah.
So with that, I mean, Department of League Administration already getting a match loss there. It is just if one team wins, the other team loses, that team makes it, and Dad Legend is just about locked, especially with that win.
Yeah.
So, with that, I believe that is it for us for Hero. Heroes still one more week to go, so I just want to go to our player power rankings. These are not the final ones for Hero, but they are the final ones for every other class. Should we take a look at our PPR?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Azalea to tell us who made Hero player power rankings.
Okay, for Hero PPR, we're starting with our honorable mentions. It starts with Based Inc. at 2-2 with a 10-7 record. We have Gimme Lamp at 4-3 with 17-12. Ron Mexico honorable mention 4-3, 17-15. Then we have Heat Shock at 4-3 with a 16-15. And Canoe at 2-0 with a 6-1, sitting atop the honorable mentions. And now into our top 10. Our top 10 starts with DeSharmo with a 4-2, 15-10. T-Cots 5-2 with a 17-10 game score. Tab in 8th place with also a 5-2, 17-11. Molsar continues the trend at 5-2 with 17-13. Moving up to 6th, we have World 8 at 5-1 with a 15-8 game score. And back to our 5-2s for our top 5. My co-host Super Chicken 5-2, 19-8. We have Geranium Battle, my other co-host, in 4th place at 5-2 with an 18-12 game score. And then in 3rd place is my teammate Starlax at 5-2 with a 19-9 game rate. And then our 2 undefeated players, it starts with Yellow Dart 7-0, 21-8. And Nice Jewish Owl, our number 1 for PPR at 7-0 with 21-8. So they're likely very close in the metrics. So congrats on everyone who made PPR, and for those 2 players to be so far ahead of everyone else.
For sure. Go ahead, Geranium.
Don't really know why Molestar is facing higher seeds than me and is below me. But what I do know is that the top 4 is where it really matters. That's where PPR stands out.
That's where it really starts.
Yeah.
Shortly.
So, let's take a look at Legacy now, since we're done with Hero. Hopping into Legacy, where our first match is going to be the Stubbs facing Defias. Geranium, what happened there?
Of course. The Stubbs and Defias were at the top of the Gold Conference, and the Stubbs kept their very powerful winning record with a 14-11 win over Defias. Although that did mean that both of them made it into playoffs. Defias was not able to get the bye. So the Stubbs 14-11 with Lemur getting a Game 5 win over Wild9. That's the Wild9's first loss of the season. Classy Thug got a sweep over Epic Mingo. Jespin got the sweep over Truth AM. Nomad Farmer got a Game 4 victory over The Realer. And Walkerman got a Game 5 win over Probiwan.
The Stubbs is still showing really strong. This match could honestly have been the finals. What do you think, Chicken?
Yeah, these are 2 very strong teams in Legacy, and it ended up being quite close, kind of as you would expect, I suppose. And kind of the 1 seed matchup was particularly interesting because you had one player that was at 6-0 and one player that was at 5-1, and now they're both at 6-1. So Wild9 did not end up. It was 1 game off having an undefeated season, but Lamer was just a little bit better this week. But interestingly, they both had mirrored classes as well, and they both brought Priest, but banned Druid, which is a bit interesting. But I mean, I guess it sort of makes sense since Priest kind of covers Rogue and Warrior pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, so even if you're not bringing Priest to beat Druid, it's still pretty good into what you might expect from some legacy classes. But yeah, some of the classes are pretty all over the place. Didn't see anything as crazy as like Shaman this week, but yeah, certainly some good diversity in Demon Hunter, Death Knight, a couple Paladins, some Mages in there, and and actually 2 Warlocks in the 5 seed matchup, which I think Warlock is actually a bit better than how much play it's getting in THL right now, but it is a bit tough sometimes because it has a really tough time into Rogue and isn't like like I think Thaddeus Warlock is like pretty solid into Druid, but most lineups don't do very well into Druid, so it doesn't matter too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it definitely has a place in the THL meta.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Now, let's take a look at our second match. Unless anyone has any further comments they want to share about our first match. Okay, so taking a look at our second match, we have character limit exceeded versus the standard THL degenerates. And Chicken, you were present here, so tell us about this match. Chicken?
Oh, sorry. I don't think I think I had my mic muted.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the character limit exceeded team got their second loss of the season, kind of off the back of me, to be honest. Considering I had the last match of the week and could not even buy a game win. But any match loss for me would have meant that STD won the week, and also it meant that STD made playoffs over Dad Legend, I believe.
Yep.
So apologies to Dad Legend for completely getting rolled by Memnarch in the last match there, but yeah, just kind of how it goes sometimes. Overall, I mean, we weren't too worried about our standings. The only risk we had was losing the bye, really,
But
unless we had like gotten 0 points.
Yeah, but you guys had seen by your match that you couldn't lose the bye. So
yeah, we saw because like most of AFG's matches had concluded before a lot of ours, so we weren't really worried. I think like Turtle and Gamer Dude had played their matches early-ish, so they'd already gotten their points, so we weren't too worried. And yeah, ended up losing the week, but yeah, no, it was a pretty good showing by STD, and they really kind of showed up when they needed to and got like the exact amount of points they needed to make it into playoffs. So congrats to them.
Yeah, Azalea, exact amount of points. Anything you want to say on that?
I think I think I want to give a big shout out to Saku for number one, he went 4-3 this season, and second of all, he took a win over Kitten which is a pretty large PR disparity.
It's true.
And I think I would say probably every other match here was pretty even. And Saku getting the win was pretty huge. For STD, for sure. I think. I mean, just big congrats, sneaking into playoffs by 1 point. It always feels good. I don't know if we're gonna talk about the actual brackets and who's playing who. I know we're gonna cover it next week, but I'm excited for my team's match against them this week.
For sure. Now, I'm going to stick with Azalea here. Tell me what the standings for Legacy are looking like after this match.
All right. So the final regular season Legacy standings are as follows. In Gold Conference, your number one seed with their bye week is the Stubbs with 125 points and a 5-1-1 record on the season. Defy is coming in second place in Gold with 111 points and a 4-3 record. 4-3 record. Next up is Alpin Marchands with 109 points and a 4-2-1 record, represent as the third seed out of Gold. Below them, we have Big W roster with 91 points to end the season with 4-3 record. We had Titans of average size at 91 points and a 4-3 record. F2L White at 90 points with a 2-3-2 record, a very odd record. You don't see a lot of two-tie seasons from a team most times now. And the last place for Gold Conference is Justin Makes Me Feel Good at 81 points with a 1-6 record. It's actually quite a lot of points for their record.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, we'll see in the Red Conference. Over the Red Conference, the number one seed from Red Conference with a bye is Character Limit exceeded with a 121 points and a 5-2 record. In second place is Amber Flight Gaming with 119 points and a 6-1 record. As Standard THL Degenerates squeaking into that third spot, getting the 6th seed overall. And for playoffs is with 109 points and a 4-2-1 record. Just on the bubble looking out is Dad Legend with 108 points and a 3-3-1 record. A Perfect Mulligan at 92 points with a 3-4 record. Then to Valorant Refugees with 67 points in a winless season. Unfortunately for them, 0-7. And E.T. Cthulhu, 65 points and a 1-6 record. Very interesting that a team that did not win a week has more points than a team that went 1-6. Like those are those two things those things popped out to me when I was reading through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will mention that F2L White, specifically as a team, I think about 50% of their seasons have 2 ties. They tie all the time.
Yeah, they tie a lot. I don't know what that says about Rebob, but they do tie a lot. Anything else people want to say before I move on to the Legacy Player Power Rankings? So, Chicken, why don't you tell us our Legacy Player Power Rankings?
All right, taking a look at the top 15 players in Legacy Series. So starting out with the honorable mentions, we have Epic Cat at 3-0. We have Hockey Boys at 5-2. We have Neji at 5-2. Pastor at 5-2. And rounding out the honorable mentions, we have Jespin at 5-2. Then into our top 10, we have Judo Chop, who is 6-1 with a 16-8 game score. We have You Kitten Me at 5-2 with an 18-9 game score. Tab at 5-2 with a 19-10 game score. Classy Thug at 5-1 with a 16-10 game score. Have Turtle at 6-1 with a 19-14 game score. Ron Mexico at 6-1 with a 20-8 game score. Skirt Reynolds at 6-1 with a 20-6 game score. We have Copa at 6-1 with a 20-10 game score. We have the almost undefeated Wild9 at 6-1 with a 20-13 game score. And I would say deservingly, the person who ended Wild9's undefeated streak, we have Lemur at 6-1 with a 20-9 game score as the #1 player in Legacy. So congrats to everyone that made Legacy PPR. And if you didn't make it, well, there's always next season. And you can always make it then. Or if you're in the playoffs, just win in playoffs like me. And just be 3-4 and get carried by your team to a first place.
or me be 1-6 and have your team gangbusters carry you.
Fair.
Yeah, no, as soon as I saw that my team was doing well, I was like, oh, I don't have to win, so why would I?
I wasn't doing well to start with, so there was no shot for me to look at, and my team was still winning. So, thank you to my 3 teammates in the honorable mention / top 5, and my other teammate who missed by only a little bit, and Mr. Charuk.
All right. I'll bring us back to the main screen as we close our talks about Legacy for a very special commercial read. Yes, this is our commercial moment. So I want to ask, who here has not read the commercial for the longest? I don't actually remember.
I do have to say, I think it's been a while since I have read it.
It's also been a while for me. It's been a while for me too.
I did it last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know geranium is not the answer.
I'll do it again.
Let's do chicken this week and we'll do Azalea next week. So,
Okay.
chicken, why don't you read us our commercial?
All right. Yo, 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 yo. Hey there, Twitch spewers. Have you mage-scribed to Scream Hearth League yet? Then make Wednesday, Tuesday a thing and subscribe yourself to our channel. This subscription enables our stream cleaners to help cover the cost of operating our website, as well as improve the quality of our streams and raw content to our viewers. If you have Apple's on Prime / Yogg Prime, you can subscribe to the channel by playing 15 spells to rate Yogg cost 0. Subscribable dribblers will get a THL emoticon as well as the Skamazing THL chat badge. But hit that thumbs up 7-up button and dim the lights down to make sure you save on your electric bill. We appreciate each and every one of you. Spectral tome to our viewers, check out THL's other spectral media points of interest. Website, teamhearthleague.com. Rake us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Hearth League. Face us on Hearthstone, Super Chicken, #1331. The true Hearth legend continues to post all our videos on our YouTube channel. Just besmirch for Team Hearth League to see everything previously recorded. You are, of course, watching us, you are, of course, watching us on our Twitch channel or possibly on our YouTube channel in the distant past. Or if you're a druid on turn 3, and for all of you THL fans out there, there are THL shows every single 4th days of the week. You can't go blue crooning in at any time for some Hearthstone reverberated content. Now back to the Yoggers part. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow indeed. That was a great read.
That was great.
The team here is getting
There was so much
experience.
lag. I was trying to type the name of the true Hearth legend and it wouldn't type it at all. I'm sorry.
This is sad.
Sad moments.
We'll save it for next week when the commercial gets completely unreadable again.
Yeah.
But I will give a special thank you to Super Chicken for reading the commercial, and get ready because we have a few more weeks left and a few more weeks to have it more and more unreadable. So let's move on to Pro Series, where we're going to begin by taking a look at a match that is obviously quite close to me, but I'm sure everyone here was hoping for because it was the most competitive match of the week because of the two teams playing each other. So I'm going to ask Azalea to tell us about Brushy Tuna facing CMU.
All right. Brushy Tuna versus Cheesemongers United. A very important match for both teams, and Brushy Tuna taking a sweep win. That is not a result I expected, but here we are nonetheless. A lot of uniform brings from this Brushy Tuna team. So I'll start at the top. We have McBannerface taking a 3-2 Game 5 win over Pyro Llama. We have Pocket Train taking a 3-2 Game 5 win over Random Dude. We have Based Inc. also taking a Game 5 win, a 3-2 over Chewy. Ron Mexico taking a 3-1 win over Wild 9. And our lovely host Lotus Knight taking a 3-1 win over Memnarch. So congrats to Brushy Tuna, hard locking up that 1 seed from the Black Conference.
Yeah. Dranium, anything you want to say about this match?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of looks like a do-over of the last season pro finals, where Brushy Tuna ended up beating Cheesemongers United. And this one, just a couple more matches broke Brushy Tuna's way. A lot of game 5s here. No shame in losing those game 5s, and only one missed opportunity to ban Ramp Druid. So, all in all, some very good results from both teams, and I expect a rematch later on this postseason.
Mm-hmm. Anything else anyone wants to say about this match before we move to our second pro match of the night?
No.
All right, so our second and final pro match of the night is APM facing AFG Pros. And I'm going to ask Duranian to tell us about this one.
Of course. This, just like all of the other matches this season, did go APM's way with a 15-11 record over the AFG Pros. However, that came with some big results, as it was actually much closer than I might have first looked. Flying Kraken ended up taking the Game 5 win over Reverb. That's Reverb's first loss on the season. Dragon Rider ended up going Game 4 over Sicklad. And then Maxibon 1-2-3-4 had a close Game 5 match versus Being Rachel, who was our guest earlier this season. Oddlaw ended up taking a sweep over Jagatari, and Bone Masher ended up clutching a 3-1 win over This Week in Hearthstone. So, 15-11, 7-0 versus 0-7, but actually pretty close.
Yeah, and with the crazy start Aussie Pro Mafia has had this season, this is quite the big result for AFG Pros. Don't you think so, Azalea?
Yeah. I'm sorry, my brain, I spaced out, but congrats to APM on the undefeated season. It's not like Master said, they were up 12-3, so they locked the week pretty early, and the latter wins came, and the top 2 wins came to kind of to have it be close. I'm very happy for my Amber Flight, for Flying Kraken and Dragon Rider to get their wins. They both brought what's Nature Shaman, but probably ran Prescience, which makes it classified as Big Shaman. Very happy for both of them to get wins, but also again super happy for APM to take down a perfect regular season, and hoping that they can take down this title and give Bone Master his first THL championship.
And I will also mention, yes, Aussie Pro Mafia had won the week by that point, but they couldn't switch out decks. Like, unlike in the closed list series, you can bring meme decks or whatever. Aussie Pro Mafia was bringing their good decks, and AFG Pros got their wins. So being 12-3 up, I don't think really has much credence.
Mm-hmm. Anything else anyone wants to say about this match before we move on to our results so far? So, Chicken, tell us, what does Pro look like? Who made it to playoffs?
Yeah, so starting out in the Black Conference, we had Brushy Tuna taking the conference, and I believe getting the bye into the second round of playoffs. And along with them, we had F2L and Cheesemongers qualifying with them as well. F2L getting 119 points on the season, and Cheesemongers having 113. Then in fourth place, we had Opportunistic Pro Players at 93, the Imposters at 87 points, and Remember the Titans at 74 points. Then in Pink Conference, Aussie Pro Mafia, to no one's surprise, won the conference with a near 20 points per week and a 7-0 record. Then the Collegiate Player Retirement Home came in second with 128 points. In third, we had Fins Femboys at 109 points. In fourth, Swagoy with 81. Then EPM at 69 points. And finally, AFG Pros at 58 points. So definitely kind of a clear-cut top three from each conference, really, which is kind of interesting. You don't see that too often. Usually, usually the playoff race is so close, and it really comes down to the wire. But it kind of did not come down to the wire here. I think a lot of these results were fairly predetermined before the last week of play, barring any insane results. But yeah, so looks like we have our final 6 teams of this pro season.
For sure. Pro is coming to a close. Only 6 teams make it to the finals or to the elimination round. So I didn't ask this in Legacy, which I should have, but I will ask it in Pro. Who do you all think wins Pro? And I'm going to start with Chicken.
Excellent. I will pick the obvious answer and pick APM, because this is, I think, the highest point total team of any pro team ever. So I think that is pretty good. So I will pick them.
Okay. I'll ask here, Geranium. Who wins Pro?
Well, I do agree that APM has the highest points per week of any pro team ever, but that is without playing playoffs. And the playoffs is usually when that number goes down as you're facing the toughest of tough teams. And that team record 7-0 very likely becomes 7-1. Just as you always see the team that comes out from the bye a little bit rusty going against the team with momentum. I feel like it's actually more likely to be Collegiate Player Retirement Home, the next highest team in points per week, and doesn't have a bye, so gets to ride that momentum all the way through and get some rematches on the way.
Fair. Finally, Azalea. Who wins Pro?
Back to back. Brushy Tuna takes it down.
Okay, I hope Azalea's right. But we're going to see who gets it. There's still a lot to go. 6 great teams. Honestly, I can see any of them winning. I don't know about you all, because they're all so good. I feel like there was such a big...
Like a toss-up. I do think APM is certainly a cut above the rest this season, but yeah, like Max said, playoffs are something completely different, and yeah, certainly teams can just have a really good week and kind of ride that all the way to a championship.
For sure. And it's happened before. Teams that didn't do well during the regular season but squeezed in just won. And I'm sure we can all think about some great examples, right, Geranium?
Unaka Cult, yeah.
So, let's take a look to end here at Pro Player Power Rankings. And I'm going to ask Geranium, who hasn't read a power ranking yet, if I'm not mistaken, to tell us who made it to top 10 in Pro. Or, sorry, honorable mentions and top 10 in Pro.
Of course. Once it appears for me, I will start reading out those honorable mentions, starting with Rami94, 5-2 record, 19-10 game score. Based Inc., 4-2 record, 16-14 game score. Sick Lad, 5-2, 17-14 game score. We've got Agent Pui, 5-2 with an 18-9 game score. And Pocket Train is the last honorable mention. Doesn't feel that way, but Pocket Train is the last honorable mention with 4-2 and a 16-8 game score. Then the top 10, Pyro Llama, 5-2 with a 17-10 game score. We've got Yo Daddy, 5-2 with a 17-13 game score. Our co-host Super Chicken, 5-2 with a 17-11 game score. Judgment, 5-2 with an 18-13 game score. In sixth, Mick Banterface, 5-1, took that break to take the MT down. 16-8 game score. We didn't take it down, but did very well. Dread Eye, 5-2, 19-12 game score. Fourth place, Neji Boston, 6-1, 17-6 game score. Flying Kraken, 5-2, 18-13. Second place, we got Maxi Bond 1234, 6-1 with a 19-9. And at the top, we still have Reverb, 6-1, 20-9 game score.
Nice. Now, I'm going to bring us back to the main screen unless anyone has any further points they want to make about Pro or any other series, anything we need to talk about before our checkout. Okay, so I'm going to do a fun checkout question here, which is one I've never done before. I want to ask you, what is your favorite or the one you consider the best designed Hearthstone card of all times? There have been a lot of them. I actually have no idea how many have we gotten, but kind of want to check what the team thinks. I'll say mine at the end, but I'm going to start with Geranium Battle. Geranium, this is a tough question, so let me know, what do you think is the best designed Hearthstone card ever?
Man, that is a really tough question to start on. I think I might go with a recent card just because that's more what I remember. I'm kind of feeling like ETC, the more recent one, ETC Band Manager, might be a contender for best designed card. Basically because in the metas where there are fewer cards, the ones that you can really consider as your extra cards there are the ones that are very situational. And then for those situational cards, you have to pay a 4-mana tax. So it only works in certain metas, which I think is better for well-designed cards, that they're not ever present. And then it really goes well with actual like good player deck construction and good player decision making in actual matchups of like, oh well, I'm going to need Steam Cleaner in order to get rid of the Symphonies, or I'm going to need Viper because I know my opponent's going to be playing Weapon Rogue or something like that. You know, whatever tech cards you need for your matchup, it's very very dependable.
Mm-hmm. Fair. That is an interesting choice. Azalea, what do you think is the best designed Hearthstone card?
That's such a wide-ranging question.
I know, it was on purpose.
For sure. Oh no, absolutely, I know that. My problem is that I didn't get to go through all the old cards. I am gonna say Soul Eater's Scythe. It's such an I think like when it came out, the concept of like you can run 3 minions, but obviously it worked really well with like making a spell demon hunter deck exist, because obviously that like a full spell deck didn't exist. Like I think the idea of like using your bound souls properly and kind of making different iterations of the deck over time, obviously partially due to nerfs coming in because some cards that you threw in it were broken, but I think this card is one of the better designed cards in Hearthstone history.
Fair.
It's very funny. That's another like band of minions.
Yeah,
card.
it's true.
Yeah, it is.
Chicken, do you have an interesting answer for us?
I think I don't know. I think a card in recent memory that I thought has been really creative is Blade Master Okani.
Cool, yeah.
I've really enjoyed like that. I feel like that is a card that has allowed people to get really creative with their decisions. Brings in like a ton of mind games into Hearthstone, and really kind of forces you to play him at the opportune moment when you've kind of garnered some information as to what your opponent might be looking to play, what resources your opponent still has, maybe waiting out some of their lower cost spells or minions, and then trying to set it up for when they're trying to make a big play or something like that. And then even then, you can do something like, one thing that was really fun to do was against, like, say, Quest Hunter. The turn after they complete your quest, you play Okani to prevent the minion, but you pick spell. So then they play a spell trying to get rid of Okani, and then it just gets countered, and then the Okani's still on board, and they wasted a turn not playing Tavish. So stuff like that I really, really enjoyed, and why I think Okani is just a really, really cool card.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. I do agree with you. It's a really interesting card. I'm going to challenge you all and see how much you know me. And if you can guess what card I think has the best design, I'll give you all a hint. Before I go rounds, it's a very tiny, very, very tiny card. Common card. It hasn't been around in a while, but it was so good and so interesting to play. I'll start with Chicken this time.
Murloc Tiny Fin.
Nope, not the one I was thinking of. Azalea?
Common tiny card?
Tiny card. Very tiny card.
Very tiny card. It's a neutral. No, you said common. That doesn't mean neutral.
No.
Oh boy. Hasn't been around for a while. I don't. Oh boy.
Any guesses?
No guesses. I'm not going to keep you waiting because I also have somewhere to be.
Oh, no worries. And Geranium. Any final guess?
Early, it is Abusive Sergeant. That card has so much counterplay. You can target your opponent's minion and then big game hunter it. You can target your own minion and kill your opponent. You can even target your Lady Setheno.
No.
No.
What I was thinking is a card that's very annoying to lose to. I think the best design card to me is actually Penflinger.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That card was so much fun to play. You can do everything with it.
Hey, loser.
Penflinger did nothing wrong.
Surely.
It was so much fun to play. Really annoying to play against, but so much fun.
Yeah.
Now, it did certainly need the nerf at the time. And I don't even know, can it
Nope.
hit face in wild? No.
Nope. It would be too
No.
broken. It would be way too broken in wild, especially with the demon seed unbanned.
Yeah, that does sound scary.
Yeah.
I feel like you can do so much messed up stuff with that card in wild.
Yep.
Yeah, I think back before they nerfed it, like Dark Lair was like I think before
It was broken in Dark Lair
Quest.
Warlock
Yeah.
because of that. Yeah, because you could just get so much mana just from penflinging your own face. All right.
All right. So that is it for our show tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it. Just a fun conversation about playoffs. Still a lot to go. Few more weeks of THL. I hope you're all as excited as I am. I want to give a special thank you to Super Chicken, Geranium Battle, and Azalea Kari. If you want to play on stream, reach out. We're always looking for great stream matches. So that is about it for us tonight. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you all next week. Later.
Later.
Night.